our mind is already full of so many doubts. Our mind is full of doubts because there are so many ways in which the mind can think. And our mind has been used to looking outward for all things. We are used to that, to look outward, to look outside in a created universe, answers to things that are uncreated. We want to just find all answers with a reasoning mind which cannot even go beyond time and space. With a very limited capacity that we have, we are trying to discover things that are beyond the limit of the mind. So that is why we get confused all the time. The other thing is that we do not understand, unless we have practiced meditation, we do not understand the difference between experiences at different levels of consciousness. Therefore, we combine them, reading from books, and we think there are a lot of contradictions in the books. So the books, the same book has contradiction. There are letters of Great Master to the disciples in the United States, and I read that book and people were confused by that, so I read it just for clearing my confusion. Incidentally, I never read any spiritual book till I went to United States. In my early age, I never read a book because we heard directly from the Master what he wanted to teach us. But when he talked of the book, I found that in some cases he's saying it is very necessary to put in your best effort, even if you don't like it. You should do 2.5 hours of meditation deliberately. You should pressurize your mind to do it, and so on. Another page says, your meditation will do nothing. It's the grace of the Master that will do everything. Which one is correct? Do you have to put in all your effort, or do you have to just wait for grace? It's such a confusing thing for the mind. It's not confusing for somebody who is doing regular meditation and discovering that the effort part was written when we are still sitting in the physical world, in the physical state here, and we don't know anything more than what we can do, and the mind says, you will get nothing unless you strive for it, unless you put effort. At that stage, you have to put effort. That's all that you know about. But later on you find at higher levels that the effort you put in was because of grace. When you see that the effort you put in was also being derived from grace, then you find out grace is the only thing that really is working. So these are different levels of experiences, but since the mind cannot see them, therefore it thinks it's a big contradiction in the path itself. So that's why relying only on books, relying only on our own judgment from the mind leads us to a lot of confusion. And as I said earlier, the confusion is also who is a perfect master. We are trying to search. We try to go and look around for a master. And then we are always confused because they say all masters are like that. And most of the masters turn out to be fake because it's become good business to be a master. People make a lot of money out of it. And there are priests, there are evangelists, there are pujaris, there are other people who will pray for you. They won't say you pray. We'll pray for you for a fee. Give us so much and we'll pray for you. In the United States, we hear on television all the time. And when you want to pray for something, send us $25, we'll pray for 1 minute. You want more, then send 50. So this kind of open advertising that the money is what can buy prayer, what kind of value will it have? And yet billions of people are carried away by these things. In India, we go to temples and the priests say, give so much of rice, so much of wheat flour, so much of money, so much of this, and we will pray for you. And they pray for the things and the money that they get. What kind of prayer is that? None of them say, you pray, you'll get the benefit. You do meditation, you'll get the benefit. We'll do it for you. So these are the kinds of things that are misleading people, and therefore they get confused. Which is the right one? Then people are confused by roles played by different powers, energies in us, and we begin to worship them. We call some of those powers as gods, and their gods are sustaining our system, gods are sustaining our awareness, and we begin to worship them. They are supposed to be serving us. People begin to rely heavily on their own minds, thinking that the mind is the only resource they have, and there's nothing more than that, and they get completely tied down in the conflict and doubt that the mind creates. These are things that are happening all the time. Therefore, it's grace that comes to make us think no, there is something beyond. It's grace that makes us put an effort. It's grace that makes us do. At the end, we find the whole thing was grace. From here, it thinks the whole thing is effort. There's no contradiction in the two. When you know that and you read the book, you find there's no contradiction. They're just talking of two different levels of experience.